Are back. Alright. Basically, since our last and our first stream, we stumbled on this planet at the furthest reach of the galaxy that I could get to at the moment, a little over 1.15 million light years from the center. We claimed this planet, we set up digs, and we also did a little bit of exploration around the system itself. Named some of the planets. Actually, I screwed up on naming one of the planets. Accidentally chose just to upload the name without changing it, and ended up keeping the original name, but whatever. I also messed up a little bit when I was starting to claim some of the first systems for the Empire. But the first one that we're definitely doing right here is the Prime Meridian, O-R-E. The home planet for the Empire, or the home system for the Empire. Why are calling it the Prime Meridian? Well, I eventually plan on going around the entire galaxy. And like the longitude and latitude of the planet, it's done as a circle, and the Prime Meridian is 0 degrees. It's the starting point. It's a line that cuts pretty much through Europe, all the way down through Africa, and it's just known as the Prime Meridian. That's 0 degrees. How they determine that, I don't remember. Actually, that's a lie. I just don't know. So, but that is pretty much the starting point for any degrees on the map of a circle. And we've also gone out and found a couple other different local systems. This is another one that I screwed up on the name for. Didn't get to finish the tag on the end of it for O-R-E. But Imperial Expanse systems are just the local systems around. Claiming it for myself. I also was going around trying to look for cactus flesh. I wanted to gather up a couple extra materials before I ended up coming back here, and the one thing that I did not have in the system was cactus flesh. I do frost crystals on my base. I do gamma weed, and I also have copperite up on my base up in the freighter. But locally, I can get a hold of Starbulb. Locally, I can get a hold of a Solanarium over on one of the other planets in fungal mold. But outside of my home system, I don't have cactus flesh. I was kind of hoping I'd have a planet locally that would have it, but unfortunately I don't. And I may need it on occasion for some of the materials that I was using to build stuff. So I figured, alright, I'll go out, grab a couple, and mark the local system that I know has a planet with it. So I named it Mirage for the desert for that reason. Trade Winds? Trade Winds, I ended up naming it that specifically because I will go there to either sell or buy materials locally if I need them. You can see on the economy part of the description, flourishing, wealthy, advanced, booming, prosperous. All those indicators show that they usually have a high supply of the basic ingredients or the basic elements of stuff that you can buy there. So, good to have those marked off. Aside from that, while I was pretty much going around doing this as well, I was fiddling around in creative mode. Main reason I was doing that is because I want to build a base, and I wanted to make sure that I knew how I was going to build it before I actually started wasting materials, gathering it up, and figuring it out piece by piece. Figured might as well go in creative mode and do it for free. No cost in units, you don't have to go searching for materials, pretty much everything is available to you, and you can build at will. You know, to your heart's desire. Go right ahead and make what you want, test it out, build it, break it down, do what you need to do. And, at the moment, I pretty much have all the materials that I think I'm going to need. Hopefully, I'm able to create as much as I want on this particular location. I don't know if there are any restrictions between creative mode and the actual gameplay mode, but I'm going to give it a shot. And so far, I've gathered up a bunch of materials. Most of this is not necessary. This has just been me going around slamming a couple different things and making sure I got some stuff. But the main things that I'm going to need to create this base: glass, living glass, the dynamic resonator, emeril, and there was another material. I think it might have been the heridium. never mind. That's also so I can build a galactic hub for sale stuff. So that works out as well. A lot of voltaic keys, or a lot of voltaic cells. Reason for that is my initial plan was I am going to move all of my storage units. You can have 10 of them in the game. And I didn't realize that. I thought you could have 10 of them on each base. So my initial plan was going to actually make 10 storage units here down at my base on the home planet to store all of those warp cells that I had. I initially want them on my freighter, but I didn't realize that I couldn't just create new ones down here and then transfer the stuff as I go. You're only allowed to have 10 storage units in the game under your thing, because I guess there's a transfer item or there's some way of doing it. But when I was initially trying it here on my home planet, it was not allowing me to build those storage units here because they already exist up in my base in my freighter. So unfortunately, that was a little bit of a bummer to find that out. However, so at some point I am going to need to transfer all of those things down here, because unfortunately, as nice as the freighter looks and as far as everything goes, this is not going to be the freighter that I want the whole time. I'm currently at the point where if I jump into a system with my starship, a battle will happen. It's apparently a timed thing where when you go to certain planets and once you jump in, there's a big-ass freighter. It's getting attacked, and when you fight off the enemies that are going after the freighter will allow you to come in. If you don't hit it once, apparently, you literally need to treat this ship with kid gloves, because if you touch it, it treats you as an enemy, and then you are not allowed to get inside of that ship. But, point being, it's the better ships in the game. They look insane. Most of them are usually high quality, high cells, so that you can actually put them in each of these different locations. It's got a lot of room for your stuff. And on top of that, they look awesome. I want one. I definitely want one. But right now, I have enough room on this to keep all my stuff, and then on side, I just basically need a place to fit all of the stuff that I have in the base currently up at my freighter. So at some point, I am going to need to try and transfer that stuff down here before I go after the freighter that I want, because I need to break down the base before I get the new freighter. I'll pretty much need to rebuild my freighter base, but I want to be sure that I break down what's in there first before I go after the freighter that I want. And that'll be a whole nother episode, because that requires taking time, going back, constantly reloading, and pretty much getting lucky, because I'm not going to stop until I get an S-Class freighter, and it is random. But I now am at the opportunity where if I jump to another system, a battle will happen. It's waiting for me to get there. It's actually waiting for me to do that type of a jump, so the game will give me a space battle. But if I don't want that space battle, if I travel with my freighter, the space battle will not happen. It just does not trigger it. So I can travel at will, and I can go around and do what I need to do in my current freighter, and warping in my freighter. That space battle will not occur. It's when I jump with my starship into a system and the game decides to trigger it that I'll be able to get into a space battle. And now that I know that is ready to happen, I'm not going to jump anywhere with that starship yet at all. So in the meantime, I want to build the base. Now, the base is not going to be as illustrious as the one that's on my freighter. The base is going to be something that I want just as decoration. I want this to kind of be a monument, or just a simple place for where the Outer Rim Empire began. So this game is going to, this base is going to be a little bit more decoration than anything. Start off with the basics. What I originally was going to build down here were those storage units, very similar to what I have up on the freighter base. And what that basically was, make sure I'm doing this right, there's 2 hallways, and I am actually going to change this.
Incoming storm.
I was kind of liking the black and yellow, so make sure I keep that. And once that was done, I was going to, in each of these locations, make the area for the storage units. So for now, yeah, you can see right now it is not letting me do any of these containers because they already exist. So that was a bummer to find out. But in the meantime, I am going to fill up these locations because I do need a place for my stuff. So we'll go ahead and, you know, cuboid rooms take up a decent amount of iron. I do have it, but for now I think I am just going to use simple structure pieces. Go there. Try to make it at least look good. Going to be that piece on the end. So yeah, this is where the storage units will eventually be. I can go ahead and delete these when I'm ready, and as I empty those storage units up on my freighter base, I'll go ahead and bring the materials down piece by piece, get rid of a simple storage container, and then put it in where I want it. Will that take time? Absolutely. Anybody playing this game realizes everything in this game is just going to take loads and loads and loads of time. But let's continue on. Now, when I put these storage units in here, I also was going to round out this spot. Oh, son of a... I did this last time, too. Hey, Vlad boy, what's going on? See you down there. So, yeah. Building the base. Forgot to buy the rest of the stuff that I wanted. Some of these I still haven't bought. Oh wait, maybe I have. What the hell? Alright. Ah, that's why. It's in cuboid rooms. Unbelievable. So yeah, essentially this base is all decoration. Really not going to serve too much of a function until I actually bring down the storage units from my freighter base, but for now we're just making this into a pretty little spot to come back to every so often. Also, one of the main things I want to have for this area is kind of that meetup spot for anybody coming out this way. One of those things that you can do when you meet up with other players in the game, you can actually create a monument to where you met those players. They show up as those little dots, and you can create a monument for that time that you met that person. Now, I have that for that dude that I met on my first video. That guy gave me a ton of information, helped me out, and pretty much gave me a lot of faith in what I could do in this game. Things that I was a little bit hesitant about, like basically saying, all right, like, is this going to be this way, or am I going to have to do it this way? And clearly he was able to give me a ton of information to help me as far as mapping out the area this way, not having to worry about the portal thing where I can just find them, and the whole idea with the coding. If you check out the previous video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But big shout out to Alumni Demon, who gave me a ton of information. That's going to help me out a lot as far as getting this place mapped out. And right here, I'm just using some of these shapes to set out the edge. Now that that's done, I can go ahead and get rid of these pieces. Because after building this base in creative mode, I kind of have an idea of how I want this built. I know where I'm going to be putting most of everything. Get rid of this down here. Set up a perimeter wall. Just like the look of it, figured I was able to, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And one of these other cool ideas, instead of walling this off, now this is going to end up actually being a back entrance. I didn't want the front of my base facing a giant canyon wall. So, this will actually be the back of the base. And cool little feature. Garage door. Thought that was kind of cool that that had that there. And I'll also put one of those in the front of the base as well. You also want to make sure you rotate the door to the proper way. Let's keep going. Okay, and now we curve it around. So, as we're going ahead and doing this, like I said, I do have a plan as far as how I want this base built. It may take a while. But I am proud of the way that this is probably going to turn out. And before we finish up the walls, I think what we're going to do is build the main part of the decorative stuff of this base. Because now down over here, just as a quick frame of reference, what I plan on doing with this base, just for anybody who's at the start of this, we're eventually going to build up from here to go 2 or 3 stories up with circular structure. Then at the top, going to kind of build a display area, just basically some windowed areas that you can see, 2 viewing portals, and up at the top I am going to put a biodome to have a couple of, I guess it'll serve as a decent amount of function. I'll put a couple of things up there that normally don't grow near this planet or near this system. So I've got a couple extra cactus flesh, I've got a couple extra star bulb, which I can't get here, but that and also solanarium. Yeah, just so that if I need a few pieces of it to build something, they will be up there at the time. If I need to go get them en masse, I'll go ahead and make the trip to a planet and grab it. But in the meantime, going up. There we go, and that'll end up being the top of this base. Now, what I do need to do... Now, meanwhile, just so you do know, I am not in creative mode. I was a while ago, but right now that is not what I'm doing. I was able to gather up all the materials that I do need for this, and I actually have an idea of how I want this whole thing built. So I'm not just kind of freely tossing things out here. I do know how I want this built. I've built it once before. I kind of have an idea in my mind of what it's supposed to look like, so I'm just going on memory, but I do have a plan. There we go, and that'll end up being the main entrance into the upper area. I was able to do a ladder system going through the center all the way up. Just kind of got annoying, and the game was a little bit glitchy. It would close up the hole that would be right there at the top in the center of that piece, and I wouldn't be able to get all the way up from the bottom to go up. So yeah, that was kind of a bummer. But the way that we're getting up there, one big ass ramp. Could jump up there if I felt like it, but let's make things nice. And there we go. That'll get us all the way up there. Now, let's go with the rest of what this was. And again, this base is not very function heavy. Oh, actually, I messed up. Son of a gun. Not where I wanted that. I hope I have enough glass now, because otherwise I'm going to have to go up to my freighter and grab some more. Kinda didn't want to make the trip. There we go. Yeah, now over here I planned on doing cube rooms. So, let's go ahead and make that happen. Finish it off. Make the view. We'll make the view of the mountains kind of nice. So, that'll do that. Plus, I want to cap off the end of each of those. A nice little viewing spot. how we wanted that to go. So yes, that's going to end up being the main spot where we're going to make it as decorative as possible. But as far as function goes, it's actually doing stuff down here. My storage units will be in here. I also... Tech? No, it's not in tech. It's in room parts. Galactic Hub. Yeah. Voltaic cells, Emeril, and 5 circuit boards. A lot of materials, a lot of money to make. Gotta have one of them down here at least, though. So. That pretty much finishes the downstairs until I decide to transfer all the storage containers down there. Now it's time to build the rest of this. Now, I had a way of actually creating this. I do have an idea of the shape that I want in mind, because what is going to fit down here, landing pads 1 and 2, will be down here in the courtyards. Now, I did have this measured out to fit, and I don't remember exactly how I need this to do. No, it was... I have an entrance here. It'll curve around here, then curve around here, and then go out to here, and then curve. So, if I do this correctly, and I did have this done, I should have remembered the measurements when I was out there, doing this in creative mode. But, I think I can do it again, hopefully the same way. I won't put in all the pieces right away, but let's see if I can get it out there. Yeah, actually, this looks like this was the amount of room that I needed to fit it. So I think we're in business. Ah. Ah, you bastard. Alright. Do that. Do that. And I do believe that is how I measured this out. So, let's go with a little bit of faith here, and hopefully I got this right. Flip around. It looks familiar. So. Snap guides are wonderful, but I gotta be exact. I don't want to keep screwing up and having to lose materials every time I break it down. Okay. So yeah, I'll go over here and finish this piece off, but something that I did have a little bit of trouble with in creative mode, inside the object. Something that I did have a little bit of trouble with in creative mode was lining up something that I did have a little bit of trouble with was lining up the landing pads inside this area. Not only so that they did look good when you put them down, but that they did fit in a decent manner. So, we're going to go ahead and give that a try again. Now, actually, let me be smart about this. Let's save. Because if I do get the alignment wrong and I don't like the way that it looks, I don't mind just giving it a quick reload and then trying it again. But we're saved here at this point. Fortunately, the storms aren't too bad here, but they are a little toxic. Dual shock battery low. Alright, let's get this done then. It's under tech, landing pad. Reason I'm starting it over here is you see where that terminal is on the landing pad? That indicates the front of any ships that land. So I kind of want them facing the proper direction. I want them facing out. Just the way that I want it to look aesthetically when they show up. Alright, so let me get rid of the info so I can see a little bit better. So yeah. This is where I'm going to want this piece. Now I kind of want to make sure that it's lined up well. I'm standing too close to it. Eventually it'll turn green. There we go. So yeah. I also don't want it so crooked. So I need to figure out where I'm standing. We're looking at... Let's see. Here's the curve. 1, 2, 3, 4 across. So right about here is about the center of the area. If I turn, I can't really see it too well, but right about there. Actually, yeah, I'm standing in between two dots. I can kind of see the dots on the other side. There's the curb. 1, 2. Let's do it. Alright, the alignment isn't too bad. That actually worked out near damn perfect. Alright, cool. So, now that I'm happy with it, I think I'll save. But in the meantime, I'm about to start getting toxic damage, so let's go ahead and waste a little material and deal with that. I'm sure the storm will be over soon anyway. But yeah, I am extremely happy with that location. Now, I'll go ahead and save. I do not want that happening again. Because that's a lot of materials to make those things. Kelp, unfortunately, on this planet, I can get a hold of kelp sack. Kelp sack is one of the main things you need to build landing pads. You need 10 something rubber, but those rubbers are not easy to come by. You definitely need to go farming down in some kind of a water planet, which fortunately I'm at. But God, it was a chore to get a hold of that much kelp sack, especially since I want to make 2 landing pads. Alright, here we are. Looks like we're lined up right about here for the center. Slowly. What the hell? Gotta stand further away from it for it to register. That does look close. Oh, we get a visitor. And it's kind of cool that ships will randomly stop in. Plus, you'll have ships that will be circling overhead. So it'll make it look like a nice big galactic spaceport. Alright, we're in. Let's see. The alignment is a little bit off. I'm kind of not happy about it, but yeah, you can even see the distance almost as... Distance is about right, but I think I screwed up the angle. And yeah, knowing that it's going to look like this, I think I want to change it. Yeah, it's a little bit off, so I am going to go ahead and reload. Hate doing it, but I'm going to do it. So once I get it to look as close, as aligned as possible, and unfortunately I have to do it this way. I can't rotate the, I can't go to a better location or a better position. I can't rotate the landing pad. I have to do it from that side to have it facing the way that I want. So, whatever. Fortunately, we'll reload. I'll have the materials back, and we'll go ahead and try this again. I mean, and I'm close. It's not like it's not that far off. One good landing pad is still there. Go ahead and remove this spot. And yeah, we wanted to line up directly with this. Wow, actually, yeah, that's coming a little bit close to that edge there. That's not gonna like that. Hopefully right about here. Is where it was good. You know what? I think I'm okay with this. It could be a little bit closer. Need to figure that out. Crap. Yeah, I want to redo it. Sorry, guys. A little bit boring, but this is something that I do want to do properly. We'll get there. And, the only other plan that I mainly had for this area, this location, I do want to have a number count as to how many systems are part of the Outer Rim Empire, including the one that we're currently on. So I'm also able to create a display message inside of the base itself. I'm allowed to do that. So I can always change the number that's currently on the message, so that means I can always change how many systems we've been to. I say we because, hey, you never know, you might actually get on this and make a couple systems, tag them with ORE, and build up the Empire. Okay. Well, let's see. I'd like to see. I wish I could see this from above, but right about there, I think, was a little bit closer. Angle was a little bit weird, but I think we're on. Let's go with right here. We might have got too close. Yeah, we did. Shit. We're gonna get this right, people. All 0 of you. Let's see. I'll give this one more shot. We kind of know where we're at, and if it's close, I'll leave it, because I would like to continue on and just complete this video. Because afterwards, I may end up working on bringing down all those materials and turning those empty rooms into the storage units, until I find the freighter that I want. So for now, I'll just leave it blank, because that's going to be very time-consuming. Going up, gathering some of the materials. I can probably take about 100 a pop on each of my ships, remove 2 containers, and then... let's get a better view. Maybe that'll help. But as far as the containers are concerned, as far as the containers are concerned, that's going to be a time-consuming project, so I would like to not bore you too much with that. Alright. I think right about here. A little closer. Fuck it. Let's see what we got. Might be a little too far away. You know what? Whatever. I can live with it. Who said it had to be perfect? Oh wait, I did. Right now, I'm not too worried about it. If I feel like going back and fixing this at some point, I'll give it a shot, but I'm not about to gather up all that material again. So, that is... the headquarters for the Outer Rim Empire. I'm going to be putting some flags up top. Still going to be building on the inside up there. But in the meantime... message mod. Was able to go through that fast because I wrote that message before. I guess it carried over on the, at least on the texting, so that's separate. But yeah, it carried over when I wrote that. Doing it in creative mode. And the other thing that I wanted to do, let's see. Come on. So yeah, up here, I can certainly put in a few things that I want growing. Don't want fungal mold. Don't want frostwort. I have plenty of it. These are the things that normally take a little bit longer to grow. Cactus flesh. Starball. one are you? Cactus flesh. Star bulb. Oh, we are out of solar. Or are we? No. Are we? No, I have plenty of solar. I am missing thamium and carbon. Alright. Well, we'll go ahead and get that later, but you'll get the point. Basically, a couple extra materials of things that I'm going to want up here, I'll add to up here. Now, as far as decoration and the way that I wanted this place to look, over here I was going to put up some sort of decorative version of a command center of sorts. Get some TV displays. And again, this is all no function whatsoever. This is simply just to make this place look presentable. And yeah, one thing I definitely did want up in this particular area, let's go to tech. Message module, I'm missing stuff. How did that happen? Be in my starship. No. There's the heat capacitor. Am I missing a power gel? Yeah, I guess that's what I was missing. Son of a gun. Alright. You gotta be kidding me. Tell me I need carbon. Yep. So, either way, up here is where I was going to add the message module for how many systems are currently in the Outer Rim Empire. Let's go get some carbon. I don't want to leave this unfinished. I don't know why I'm going for plutonium. I have plenty of it. You can never have enough. Get out of my way. So yeah, the location has a wonderful view, and I wanted to make use of it. Ooh, star bulb. Ooh, piece of candy. I kind of like the way that this looks. I'm proud of it. There we go. Little message thing. Welcome to the Outer Rim Empire HQ. And then after coming up here, and I did notice that if you have the materials to make the things that need to be made, it will automatically give you the build on that item that you're looking to build. Never noticed that before. But that is helpful. The only difference is, I mean, sometimes the materials take up more than the space, so breaking down into those individual items that you need to create certain things can help. Yeah, let's see. Alright. Make this little robot. Just hanging out doing his thing. Where do we put him? Yeah, right about there is fine. Can't spell. So, the question is, how many systems do I currently have? I wrote a few of them down, and it looks like we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the Imperial Expanse, just for me going around trying to find the materials. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the Trade Winds systems, so we know that those are high economy. And then we also have the Prime Meridian. So, 6 and 6. We currently have 12 systems in the Outer Rim Empire. And I could make my way back here every so often when we go through my travels and update that number. And if anybody decides to show me proof that they were out this way, show me the distance, and tell me how far you actually went. You know, if you're out here making claims on systems and you're tagging them with ORE, take a screenshot of your locations, either in your galactic map or in your discoveries. Show me where you're at. You know, or at least if, you know, until I know exactly where you are in the system, go ahead and just keep tagging it with ORE. And yeah, like I said, don't pay no mind to that one. But anytime you're in the Outer Rim, which I'll determine how far out you need to be once I actually map this place. Because there are places that are where I'm at 1.15 million light years away, but then I've also seen places that are under a million, 990 and change. So obviously the shape of this galaxy is not perfect. It's not exactly round. I'm kind of hoping it's also not square either. That would be kind of disappointing. But I'll be doing the math. I'll be traveling all the way around, claiming systems as I go. Because, yeah, if I felt like it, I could go ahead and just... if I really felt like it, I could go ahead and just look at the galactic map, find certain systems, see how far they are away from the center, and just go around like that. But what's the point? I want to go ahead and actually claim these systems while I'm going out there, so I'm going to make the trip. I'm not just going to sit there in the galactic hub and fly around in stars that I'm never going to be to, or get to. So, that's the plan. Yeah, and every time you come near the module, it'll let you know what that message is. So if I go back out to the front, it'll say, "Welcome to the Outer Rim Empire." Now, the one thing that I did want to do, I initially was going to have this area over here set for monuments. For any time somebody comes to this planet and sees this place. But I figured what would be kind of a better idea if this is the view of the base from the front with the mountain range in the background. I think over here would be a really cool location to actually set up the monuments. So we'll call this Monument Hill. If anybody wants to, whenever they meet somebody or if they come to this location, walk right up the hill and set up a monument. You get a nice little glowing ball, and we can set up a whole wall of them. Now that'll happen if a bunch of people actually end up catching on and coming over to this place. I will set up, or I think I have set up, the address for the portal that is, that's, I think, an hour away from this location. So getting here might work, or it might not. But we'll definitely see. Let's see. There we go. Anytime we meet new people, just go up the hill. Mark it down. And that's it. Actually, that's not it. Make it. I can't remember if I have enough glass to do this. Yeah, I guess I do. I did want to at least open that up a little bit. And one last set of decorations. Flags. Let's see, which way is the wind actually blowing? Do we know? Looks like it's blowing that way. Uh-oh. Looks like that thing barely fits. So, set up one flag here right at the end. And we'll go ahead and fix that. That should last me till the storm ends. Make sure we're rotating this flag the proper direction so it at least is consistent.
Attention. Falling.
Stick a fork in it. We're done, baby. So, the only other plans that I had as far as getting some decoration onto this is maybe adding a couple more monitors to the location where I keep updating the system count. The back room I was going to set up as some type of an office or a bed just to make that a little more appealing, I suppose. And then I could certainly drop a couple banners. We'll see how complicated the game lets me make this. But yeah, there it is. So, we'll go ahead and park the starship in there so that every time I take off I don't have to keep refilling the damn landing pad with plutonium, because that always gets annoying. I always try to find, whenever I drop to a new planet, yeah, the launch thruster, that's it. I always try to find a location that has one of the landing pads or one of the landing pylons that allow you to just take off without having to use up your launch thruster fuel. But yeah. It's not a bad looking spot, aside from the occasional toxic storm. It's not terrible. There it is. The Outer Rim Empire. Throws me outside. Well, at least I get the message, right? Yeah, I think I'm alright with this. We'll set up a couple of crates or stuff down here. We'll make it look presentable. But that'll be for me to work on for another time. Plus, I got a lot of work to do to try and get all the materials down from my freighter down into here. And I've also got a lot of money that I need to try and make. So I may be doing some dynamic resonator transfer. Oh, you know what? I actually found that that might not be possible. I tried doing the dynamic resonator market crash money-making scheme, where you would go to a specific planet, buy all the dynamic resonators from there, and crash the market by buying and selling it to the point that it's at its lowest. And then you would use warps to get to other systems and sell them at the higher price. The problem is that system where you normally keep all of your dynamic resonators, where you constantly go back and buy them, the inventory doesn't regenerate. It doesn't just go back to what it used to be. I guess maybe they fixed that with the update. I don't know, but I tried doing the dynamic resonator thing before, and all of the inventory ended up transferring and staying there. So, I don't know if now just jumping from spot to spot to spot and having this, I mean, it's possible, but I don't know if you're able to make as much money doing it that way now. I'll have to give it a try. If it works, I'll give an update as to the new way to use dynamic resonators is possible. I guess we'll find out. But in the meantime, spend some time getting my stuff down here from my freighter, so that at some point I can go and fight that battle and hopefully get a much better much, much better freighter. One of those mega freighters. Look like a Star Destroyer. Kind of want that one. So, we're going to be spending some time trying to make that happen at some point. But in the meantime, I think that's it for me. Well, see y'all later.